Hello and welcome to the Europod from sportsbet.io. This is our Bundesliga episode for this week, but don't forget there is a La Liga and a Serie A episode every week as well. And don't forget to like, to comment, give us your thoughts on our experts' opinions, and to share the links as well where you can. We will start with our good friend, as always, Taufik Khalil, with Bayern Munich against Augsburg. This derby here. Since that game against Barcelona, Bayern Munich have not conceded. They've scored a ton of goals. They look terrifying again. They are a strange team, but on their day, they are a truly unstoppable team, right?
Well, it's a complicated match for Bayern Munich because a lot of these players have been on international trips with their national teams. Augsburg, not so far. Maybe one or two or three, I don't know. I didn't count it, but Bayern Munich, almost the whole team. So they're coming back Tuesday or Wednesday. First practice on Wednesday, match on Friday night. Very complicated to get into it. It's cold. It'll be snow. It'll be complicated with the turf they're playing on because the NFL was playing in Munich about 10 days ago. Of
course, right, yeah.
After the match, they took the whole grass out of the stadium, and this morning is Wednesday. Until 2 days ago, there was no grass in the Allianz Arena. Yeah, so what they bring in, they roll in. It's a hybrid, what they call it. It's a mixture of grass and artificial things. They bring it together, they roll it out, they bring it in, they hope it's in. Last time they did that 2 years ago, Bayern Munich had a lot of trouble with the grass. Looks like, as I said, it's complicated for Bayern Munich. For Augsburg, much easier because they have nothing to lose. It's this one match a season where you can say, let's go out there, play against Bayern Munich. Yeah. There's a saying in Germany, they say Bayern Munich is the same as a dentist. Once a year you have to go, you have to see him. So that's like Bayern Munich. Yeah? It might hurt, but come on. Sometimes yesterday I was at my dentist, no problem. So maybe for Augsburg, this dentist visit on Friday in the dentist office of Bayern Munich will be a good one. They go out, as I did, with a big smile because Bayern Munich now fighting in the central, especially there where they had a lot of trouble last season in front of the defense because Pavlovic still out with the broken collarbone. Palinja now out for at least 6 weeks. So these two players who played next to Josh Kimmich, who is there the absolutely number one there in the central, now they are out. Looks like Leon Goretzka, who was one of the biggest players in German football for a long time, but who was totally out, of the team, is now the guy everybody is hoping for. Yeah, he has to play there. And as I said, it's not easy for Bayern Munich this match.
I suppose as well with the pitch and the way that Bayern Munich play, that quick turnaround and that burst, that it's not just that the pitch is going to be difficult generally, but for the style of football that Vincent Kompany employs, that makes it even trickier, doesn't it?
Yeah, we saw some 2 years ago after the last NFL match after the first in Munich that when they played there, that the grass was not totally grown into the turf. So the thing is that the grass started to move. So when the players did fast turns, they had real problems with that. So it's and to do something like that in November, bringing in a new turf, is quite difficult because it's not spring. It's not that all the roots are coming out, are happy to grow. It's cold, it's snow. They try with a lot of artificial light from above. The Allianz Arena is a very dark place. No sun, even if it's not snowing like today. There's no sun in the Allianz Arena. It's a tough one. It might get, as I said, complicated for Bayern.
Yeah, it's. I mean, obviously the money they've got for the NFL will be huge, but at the same time, a bit of a risk possibly in November, and perhaps a chance for Augsburg. We've only got a 30-odd minute journey in, to maybe go home on that 30-minute journey with at least something from this game. Over to Dortmund. Sorry?
Well, and just go to the match. Bayern Munich. I think they are favorite.
Yeah.
But they have to get Paris Saint-Germain out of their head, because this is an important match on Tuesday. Because every match from now on is a final in the Champions League.
Yeah.
If you're still praying for the first eight, even more. But they have to secure the first 24 so far. So as I said, once again, the 6th or 7th or 8th time, it's complicated for Bayern Munich.
It is, 17th, of course, in the Champions League at the moment. So they would qualify, but they just have to play a bit more football to get to the latter stages. It is interesting, obviously, getting by Benfica, what was it, 1-0, I think, wasn't it, at the Allianz in the Champions League as well. So moving on to Dortmund, as they take on Freiburg. For all Dortmund's issues this season, their home form has actually been overall very, very good. And they're taking on a Freiburg side, who we have mentioned a few times on this show, who have dropped off a little bit, Tofik.
Yeah, well, some draws, but they only lost to Leipzig. You can lose to Leipzig because Leipzig is second, and the other teams lost to Leipzig. It'll be really an interesting match, because Freiburg is a team which is very inconvenient to play. They play a very aggressive defending style football, with now the fast forwards scoring. Dortmund, a lot of struggling in this season. You can't tell, 10 behind Bayern Munich. So all the pressure is not on Freiburg. They are, I think, on 5th position so far before this next match day. I think they're happy with that. But Dortmund on 7th, 2 behind Freiburg and 10 points behind Bayern Munich. Oh, come on. This is nothing you want after what? Match day 9, 10, 11 early this season. So if they don't win and Bayern wins, it's 13. Goodbye, Deutsche Meisterschaft.
Absolutely. But I mean, this is the thing about Dortmund, isn't it? Because they've won all 5 home games. They've won all 5, which, at the start of the season, you sort of say, well, what's wrong with Dortmund? What's going on? But actually, as the season progresses, this is now an official pattern, isn't it? The home form is great. The away form is nowhere near good enough.
Absolutely. But, I think they are fighting each other very much. They're thinking about, is Nuri Sahin the right guy, or is he not? Well, when they speak out, they say, no, of course we stand behind our coach. But I think as a player, you ask yourself, is this system working? Why we are not where we have been last year with Edin Terzic, who was not good enough for us. Now we have Nuri Sahin. He should be good enough for us. Look what we are doing. And for me, Freiburg, Dortmund, Freiburg, even if it's in Dortmund, this is an absolutely draw. This is a 2-2 for me. Yeah, I give it a 2-2. I give it a 2-2. That'll be good.
I can see it. I could absolutely see the Freiburg being the first team to stop Dortmund at home this season. Dortmund are a side who, certainly the prices at the moment, are very hard to jump on and support in any way, shape or form. Another side who've been, well, nowhere near as good as last season, although it was always going to be hard to be as good as they were last season, is Bayer Leverkusen. They're hosting Heidenheim. Now, on the face of it, this is a game where you go, Bayer Leverkusen win this game. They're taking on a Heidenheim side. They should be beating them any day of the week. Done. I don't know that it's as clear as that, despite the huge gap between these two teams, Taufik. And I think as well, for me, Heidenheim, if they finish this season where they are, that's a great year. That's a fantastic season. Brilliant. Done. Lever, though, just seems so lacking in confidence in themselves in a way, of going from this real high to now having to back it up and struggling to do so.
Well, they are back to normal now. That's it.
Oh, there you go. Back to normal. That's the phrase.
Welcome back to reality. That's what it is for me. They are 9 behind Bayern Munich, 9 points behind Bayern Munich. If they don't win that, and as I said, Bayern beats Augsburg, it'll be a tough one for Leverkusen, even to have a little dream left in your back here, that you could defend the title. But for me, Heidenheim last year, excellent season. This year, absolutely, we see something we have seen a lot in the past, when teams who played way over their limit and made it to international football, when with all these things, then they lost some good players. When these teams come in the next season with that international pressure, with thinking, with flying from other places. They're falling down in the league. Union Berlin was the best example for what I'm just talking about, and now it's Heidenheim. They are only 2 points in front of spot number 16 in the table, which would mean relegation matches. And in international wise, on the Conference League, they play excellent, fantastic. What they did, they beat Hearts of Midlothian in Edinburgh, fantastic for Heidenheim. And now going to Leverkusen, what match is in their mind? Tuesday, biggest match on the Schlossberg Stadion in Heidenheim for the history of the club, even bigger than Bayern Munich. Tuesday night, the big London club Chelsea will come with his billionaire playing club style to the little Heidenheim. They will drive with their big Chelsea bus through the little village roads, windy roads. The fans will go nuts. It's a magic night in Heidenheim, and you have to get that out of your mind. And you have to remember that in the Bundesliga, you are totally struggling. As good as they are in the Conference League, maybe they are the first Conference League winner who will play the second division the year after. I have no idea. They really have to go back to their home base, and the home base is the Bundesliga. It's not you cannot throw all out on European football. But for most of these players, this is the chance. It's a once in a lifetime chance.
I think that the thing is, that's why I was saying that for Heidenheim right now, if they just knew they were going to be in the Bundesliga like next season, even if they win the relegation playoff game, that's fine in a way for them because of where they've come from, but also because of where their attention has also been. If they're in the Bundesliga next season, league-wise, you could argue that's a success, I think, for Heidenheim with where they're at. And again, you mentioned, you're quite right. You see teams who sometimes get a surprising or a big promotion from the Bundesliga, which is obviously in Germany's case, but across world football. And because that momentum and that confidence is still there, they suddenly fly again, and everyone's surprised. And well, hang on, what's happening here? But then when eventually you run out of that steam, you slowly start to, like you were saying, back to normal, regress a little bit. And Bayer Leverkusen, I think the thing about them as well is, and again, I'm speaking as an outsider here, not as the expert, but you've now got a situation where, off the back of last season, they're incredible, but now is Wirtz going to Real Madrid? Xabi Alonso is definitely going in the summer. And all of a sudden, it feels like some players already from the start of the season have had 1 foot outside of the club.
Absolutely. But who did you tell you that Wirtz will go to Real Madrid? Everybody's talking about Wirtz going to Bayern Munich and playing with Musiala. This is the big story here. Nobody is talking about going to Real Madrid.
Well, the Musiala thing obviously is interesting because he's on the verge of signing an extremely expensive contract, right?
Yeah. And along that, it's tough to get another 130 million for Wirtz. But I'm pretty sure, as far as I know, Bayern Munich, and I don't know that club too bad, I'm pretty sure that right now they are really thinking about this idea of getting the 2 best young German players, 2 youngsters, 20 years old or younger, in their club, building a bright future, preventing teams like Paris or Real or Hansi Flick, who is everybody's dream in this moment, getting their hands on these players. And I'm pretty sure that Bayern Munich will throw all in what they can do to get these 2 players. Musiala is one, but I'm pretty sure that even if they don't confess that open, that Wirtz is in their mind. And then we are back to Leverkusen. A lot of these rumors, a lot of these stories. Where will he go? Will he go? What is going on? Alonso, for everybody, is clear that he is gone next season. But they have to win. They play Champions League Tuesday against Salzburg. They have to win because otherwise this season could be, they are only on 4th position so far, could end very early for them in terms of dreaming of defending a title.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating, but that's a very hard club to run, Lever, now I think, because of the questions. And I think as much as I've got nothing but respect for Xabi Alonso, what he did last season was borderline miraculous, but it was always going to be hard to follow it up, knowing that there's more money, there's bigger opportunities elsewhere for absolutely everyone pretty much in that squad.
I don't want to make Bayer Leverkusen smaller last season than they have been,
No.
but it was on the back of a very weak Bayern Munich. We have to never forget that. Now Bayern Munich, as you mentioned at the beginning, they are there where they see themselves on the top, absolutely far away from everybody. Even the second Leipzig is 5 behind now. Could be back to the normal German boring Bundesliga season.
We need to find another way of saying Leverkusen where they've still technically won it, but the never again Kusen or something, I don't know. Anyway, Hoffenheim against Leipzig is where we'll finish. It's not exactly a barnstorming game, but I think it is interesting because these are two teams who aren't in incredible form despite where Leipzig are in the table, Taufik.
Yeah, well, Leipzig had the last two matches were without a victory. One defeat against Dortmund, one draw against Gladbach. Internationally, it's really not going very well for Leipzig. No. Tuesday they play at Inter. This match is definitely in their mind because they are on 0 points in the Champions League table. If they still see a minimum chance of staying in the Champions League, they know that they have to focus all their power on this Inter Milano match next Tuesday, which means that Hoffenheim, who is 15, who is struggling very tough, only one ahead of 16, which would mean go into the relegation matches, which maybe you underestimate. You think, okay, come on, Hoffenheim, they're struggling, they're doing not well, they played bad in Augsburg, so we could do that easy. We have to save our energy for next Tuesday. The trainer, Marco Rose, will say, no, definitely not. What is that stupid story you're telling me? The next match is the most important one. But come on, we have seen it 100,000 of times. Yeah. If coaches told it to us or not, these things happen. If you are on 98% and the other team is on 99%, you might not win that match. And they have to, because in the Bundesliga, they are 5 behind Bayern Munich. It's urgent to stay in contention if you're still dreaming about winning your first title in Germany, your first championship title. Well, and Hoffenheim, they also need to win this match because otherwise they will go deeper in. Yeah, they have Braga next Thursday in the European League, but I think Hoffenheim is very focused on that match.
And they have been very good at the pre-zero as well. I mean, they've won 3 of the last 5. I think they've won. They've been a tough team to beat generally. They've picked up a lot of draws recently, Hoffenheim. So I'm not sure I'd want to necessarily be with Leipzig sort of very strongly to get 3 points in this game.
Well, I think this is, for me, there's another draw. This is another draw. I can see that. This is I see it's a scoring match. I see at least a 1-1 on 1 goal on each side, but this is for Leipzig. Yeah, they're real struggling. What I hear from my colleagues from Leipzig is that is not that positive. The atmosphere is not as positive as it has been some weeks ago. With all this defeats in the Champions League, 3 in a row. Wow, that's big.
Yeah, and another game we're not going to talk about in any great depth, but Eintracht Frankfurt do host Werder Bremen, and I thought that was an interesting game as well. Eintracht obviously doing very well this season, very good at home, plenty of goals I think expected in that as well. It's a really good week in the Bundesliga, a lot of stories, and as Taufik has been saying, there's been an awful lot of focus on the Europe that's been and that is to come as well, so it does add an awful lot in there, and if you're Bayern Munich, it's probably best to wear slightly longer studs for the game against Augsburg on Friday. Taufik, thank you very much as always, my friend. We will speak to you again next week at the next round of fixtures. But it's another fascinating week in the Bundesliga.